we're going to take it slow here until everybody hops on. We're in the car today, obviously, and we're doing this vertical. YouTube's still recommending that, so we'll see if it works. It actually kind of works for me because when I'm in the car, I have my phone holder, and it only works in this direction. But we'll see if it does put it in the lives feed, because it's supposed to if you do it this way. But anyway, guys, this is the January 2024 live stream, and I am doing this on my phone, so just bear in mind it's a little awkward. I'll see your comments pop up for a second and then they disappear. I'll do my best to scroll through them on my phone and get back to everybody. So right now I am in Matthews, North Carolina, which I think is where I was last month as well, when I did this. I just put chapstick on. My lips feel weird. Anyway, I'm in the same city. I'm not constantly here, but this is the same city where I did the live stream last month. And it is, well, it's cloudy, but it's like a nice bright day, and it's pretty warm here. I don't know what it is where you guys are. I think here, let me check. Well, the car says it's 53 degrees. It feels warmer than that, and I'm okay with that. Hey, John. That's the only comment I see so far. I didn't check to see. Maybe I should just do that right now. Okay. No, I don't think there were any comments that were posted before I went live. So we'll just do the normal thing. As you guys pop on, if you want to ask any questions, I can let you know what's been going on, and I can answer any questions you guys have. While we're doing that, I'll go ahead and tell you guys the drink of the day. So this is cherry lemon citrus. This sun drop I've never even heard of before, but apparently it's like a big thing down here in North Carolina. There's like a green one, which is the regular one, and then this is the cherry. It does have actual juice in it, and it's got a lot of caffeine. Yeah. Oh yeah, hey Max. Yeah, that Max says thanks for moving up the start time. Yeah, so I saw your comment, and that's why I put it at 1 o'clock today. I was not thinking about anything conflicting with the schedule. Last month I at least knew when Christmas was and that was going to conflict. I had no idea about the football games. Actually, I think it was yesterday, I got an email from TaskRabbit, and it said something about, get ready for the big game. And I'm like, what game? Like, just wherever my mind is, I'm not thinking about sports or the Super Bowl or anything. I just kind of forgot it existed. So, yeah, I will, I guess I'll have to think about that and find a place to watch it. I don't even know when the Super Bowl is. Is it like next week? I think it's usually around the end of January. So yeah, I've been in North Carolina now for just about 2 months. Nick Town says, you missed a cold snap up here in Ohio last week. Glad you're in North Carolina. Yeah, so just online, like social media and stuff, I see people posting stuff. I'm still in community groups back home, and of course most of my friends are still from the area around my hometown. So I saw pictures of the snow and all the car wrecks. I saw the stuff about the weather, and we had that here too. Like, it did get, I think there were 3 nights that it got really cold. There was like 2 nights, and then it was like 70 degrees the next day. And then the next day it got down again to like the 10s or 20s at night. But I had known beforehand, before moving down here, that January is the worst that it gets for winter in North Carolina. And yeah, I mean, pretty much it. Now, we did have a tornado here within the last month, since the last live stream. And I literally was I sat in my car through the whole thing. I was in the gym. I just went to get my morning shower. I was in the gym parking lot. I got in the car. I'm like zoned out on my phone. And I get the warning thing, like the emergency thing that you get for like an Amber Alert. Well, I got that, and it's like, tornado has been spotted in Charlotte. So, I mean, it started pouring rain, and I just sat there. I'm like, well, I guess if I see the tornado, I'll go in the building or something, but there really wasn't anything I could do. And other than just some like minor flooding, nothing happened. But yeah, the cold, I've gotten through the worst. There were three cold days. I've gotten through the worst. And now it's starting to be summer again here. The trees are starting to bloom, and yeah. Let's see. So Max says the Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. Today is the conference championship game. Taylor Swift will be at the game in Baltimore today. Okay. So I guess that means the 49ers are playing, right? Okay. So the other reason I know that, one of the schools I went to was Ohio University, and the Kelsey brothers' mom went to OU. So the university's been posting a lot of stuff about her. I think she's from Cleveland, maybe. But anyway, so that's the connection there. And then I had the opportunity to meet Taylor Swift before she was like famous, but I didn't actually do it. You guys know I went to a tiny little college in the middle of nowhere. I went to Marietta College. And back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, this tiny little college in the middle of nowhere, one of the big draws was that every summer they would bring in one really big band. And I mean, like, basically every really famous band you can think of has like performed there. And it kind of died off in the 90s. And then while I was a student there, and I don't know, a little while later, I think they've given up again, but they keep trying to revive that. So every few years they'll get one like kind of famous person. I did see Blessed Union of Souls, which was an underground show. There was only like 30 people there. Frankie Muniz is in a band. He's a little weird dude in person, by the way. But he came and played a private show. But the Taylor Swift concert was November of 2007, and she was like really not famous. Nobody knew who she was at all. I think she had released her first album, and I think there was like some publicity about that. But I do remember that like it was like, hey, this girl's probably going to be famous. Anyway, so she put on a show for maybe 500 people, and it was just in a college gym. And we had the opportunity to meet her and hang out backstage, but I didn't do it because I was just too busy with school. Like, she wasn't that big a deal that like I felt that I needed to try to go out of my way to meet her. The way that it worked is that her contract stipulated that whatever the venue was responsible for providing security. So my tiny college of 900 students just sent out an email. I was like, yo, if you guys want to be a security guard for Taylor Swift, just we'll take anybody. And then if you do that after the show, you just get to hang out with her. So almost got to do that. Let's see here. Oh, John Doe said, did you have to change your ID or license plate? So I haven't. I guess the key phrase there is have to. I don't actually know if I'm supposed to, but I didn't. I would suppose that if I did this like a normal person and came down here and got an apartment and had an address and everything, that I would probably have to switch things over. But like when you go and you switch over your car and you switch over your license, you have to have an address to register it to, and I don't have that. Everything is still registered back in Ohio. And because of that, well, I didn't switch anything over, and also because I'm going back, I guess it might be different if I was just like planning on staying here permanently. But when Ohio warms up, I'll be back. I've got some stuff I got to take care of up there, and then for next winter, we'll see where things are, whether I'm housed or not, and what my job situation is. And then that'll determine if I do another winter here or what I do. Max, do you think Taylor Swift is hot? I mean, she's attractive, yeah. I mean, okay, let's do this. So if I was just like, say at the mall, and I saw a girl that looked just like Taylor Swift, but she like wasn't Taylor Swift, I would think she was attractive. And honestly, like, I would probably, if she gave me the opportunity, like, I would probably give her a chance. I would probably date her. But I don't think she's like, like the hottest thing ever. And she definitely was not back in 2007. If you want to go look at like older pictures, she was, again, she wasn't ugly, but she was not nearly as attractive as she is now. So she looked like an average girl, basically. Nicktown, is the lawsuit all cleared up? So with the lawsuit, you guys probably saw in the community tab that I posted that I'm free. And that's what I'm talking about. So the lawsuit is over, mostly. The reason I said that I'm free is because I didn't really know what to say. See, at first, I had planned on telling you guys that, like, I decided to drop the lawsuit, because I did, but it's not actually that simple. Because I didn't just, like, give up. I got something out of it, and it came to a conclusion. But at the same time, and then I started thinking, like, well, I thought they just gave up because they, like, stopped responding and they weren't filing anything with the court. So I was like, well, if they just gave up, like, I guess I won. So then I was going to tell you guys that I won, but then we were supposed to have a pretrial conference on this past Thursday, and I didn't hear anything from anyone. So finally I contacted the judge's secretary, and I was like, hey, can we do this over Teams? Because, like, I'm still down south and I'm not going to be able to be there in person. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. Like, the judge accepted your paperwork. It was dismissed. And I was like, oh, okay. Would have been nice for somebody to let me know about that. Either, the other side that's required to give me notice of that, or the actual court sending me the dismissal order. So, because here I am preparing for a hearing that's not even taking place. So it is over. What I want to do, and I'll see if there's any Oh, yeah, there's a few more comments about it. Okay, so there's stuff to wrap up. There's a lot of loose ends to tie up. It's less of a time commitment to do that. There is somewhat still a deadline for some of that stuff that I'm gonna have to make. Some of it doesn't have a deadline, but so some of the stuff has been taken off my plate. Some of it's still there, but it's less. What I'm gonna do, because there's so much about the lawsuit. I mean, if you even just look at the relationship, it was a 9-year relationship, and then what, 3 years fighting each other in court after that. Then with all the stuff I have to wrap up and the intricacies of all of that, and then like knowing that I'm putting it out there to people who, for the most part, you know, don't have that knowledge of the legal system, like I didn't at the beginning of this, there's a lot of explaining to do. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a video just about the lawsuit. And I'll call it something like, you know, I dropped, I don't know, I dropped the lawsuit or something like that. And I will explain to you guys some of the stuff I couldn't tell you before, and then just basically everything that happened that led to me agreeing to drop it, what I got out of it, what's going to happen now. And I feel like now that it's no longer an active pending case, I can give you guys, I'm not going to go all out and like give you all of her personal details. She would do that to me, but I'm not going to do that to her. So there is a lot of stuff that I can't tell you, but I'm at least going to tell you like what the hell has been going on the last 3 years. And a lot of the stuff I've not been able to reveal before. So I am going to do that, but I would say within the next couple months, I should have that video out. I have an issue right now with having a location to film, and then just knowing how long the video is going to be and how much editing that means it's going to take. It's going to take a long time for me to get that out. But basically, I kind of dropped off the map in around March or April of 2022 because the restraining order was filed in February. The hearings for it were in April, and I basically have not had time to do anything else since. And that means also not posting video, or like making any videos on the channel. So I have so much to catch you guys up on. I'm going to do that in general with making other videos, but I think you guys deserve to know why I disappeared for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it was. And while I can't say everything, I'm going to put a lot more of it out there. I think it'll make a lot more sense. I think you guys will see why I think it's such a big deal, why I've been so upset. And, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk more about that in the actual video. John Doe says, is it easy for you to live in your car now that you're used to it? I mean, yeah, I do. I don't know. I don't really think of it as either easy or hard. It's kind of, some stuff definitely is easier. Some stuff is a huge pain in the ass. Like anything to do with hygiene, like getting a shower is a whole ordeal. You know, I have to drive somewhere and go to the gym and shower there, and it's like a whole journey, which makes it harder for me to get the willpower to get myself moving to do it. Same with getting ready for bed at night, you know, forcing myself like, nope, you're not going to just crawl back there. You got to brush your teeth, stuff like that. That stuff is harder. I mean, obviously saving like $1,000 a month with not having rent and utilities, that's a positive. So that's a good thing. Being able to be mobile as well, and being able to survive the winter, by, you know, not being sub-zero. So I don't know. I don't know if it's easier. I don't necessarily think I thought it was that hard in the first place when I first had to start living in the car. Because especially the first night, I just reclined the seat back and I was just like, okay, I was just gonna sleep in the car, and in the morning I'll go to the gym and take a shower and just keep going on with life. Yeah. So I guess I don't really know how to answer that. Nick Town says that's great. What a mess that was. Yep, it is a huge mess, the lawsuit. One thing that I can tell you guys now, she did not have a counterclaim to begin with. So, she's not coming after me for anything. She had tried initially, like a year ago, to get me to pay her attorney's fees, which is just ridiculous because that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing at all. Like, in the American legal system, you pay your own legal expenses. That's the way it's always been. So I kind of thought that she might try that again at the end, but she didn't. I also thought that she would try to settle with me, and part of the settlement would be that I could not say what happened, because she's fought so hard to not let me, tell my story in court. And I mean, she had the opportunity where I would have settled as a condition of them allowing me to drop the lawsuit. I would have had to have signed away my right to be able to speak publicly about it, but she didn't do that. I think that's a huge misstep on her lawyer's case, I'm not saying that he did a lot of stuff right based on my experience of working with him. So I'll get more into that when I actually make the video. But essentially, I don't have any restrictions. And of course, now some of the restrictions that I did have before are gone. Now the lawsuit's over. Not that I would, for any reason, ever want to do this, but, I can talk to her now, which is really the first time that's been able to happen since I found out all this started. The first thing was the restraining order, and of course you can't talk to her then. And there was just a very small period of time between the end of the restraining order and me filing the lawsuit. And once she was represented by counsel, I can't speak to her. Now she's not. Again, I'm not going to talk to her, so that's, not going to be an issue. But at least that's another right that I got back, I guess, is just not having some rule saying I can't do that. All right. All right. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. Good start time awake for this one. Yeah. So, Max commented the other day about how there's a game today, like a American football game. I had no idea. So we did it earlier just because, it fit in with his schedule. And I figured, since it is like sort of an end of the season game, a lot of people are probably also in the same boat with wanting to watch that. Now, I can't say that we're not going to overlap, depending on how long this goes, because I think kickoff for that game's 3 o'clock, but at least we can get a solid 2 hours of the stream in here before that starts. Let's see. Ashley says, now that the lawsuit is winding down, are you going to look for a full-time job when you get back to Ohio so you can get a place? That's a little complicated because there's some overlapping things. So here and there, I've been applying for jobs, like here in North Carolina. I haven't really gotten much of a response. The responses that I've gotten have been for places that were like part-time or contract work, or maybe they would send me leads for furniture assembly, but I wasn't actually getting don't know how to say it, you know, like offers for like full-time jobs, or even like contacted for phone screenings for those. Instead, it was a lot of just like, I don't know, sort of like piecemeal work. So I guess the first part of that answer is I'm having trouble even finding a full-time job in general here. So I think I'm probably going to run into the same thing in Ohio. The second part of that is going to be, so I'm doing furniture assembly. I get leads from TaskRabbit and from a few other places, and I'm trying to do that full time. I'd like to continue try to do that full time. And so part of this is going to depend on how many leads I can generate. Am I able to do enough to do that full time? Right now, I'd say I'm saying like winter is always the slow part of that, but like I'm more successful this year in getting leads during the winter, because like last winter I wasn't getting anything. Part of it's lowering my prices. Part of it is moving to a different market. Charlotte is actually almost exactly the same size as Columbus, but the metro area of Charlotte is almost twice the size of the Columbus metro. So maybe it's just living in a like more populated region. I think it also has to do with the weather, because in Columbus, for some reason, people, they don't, they buy furniture in the winter, but they don't want it assembled for some reason. I think part of it is just the weather is not as bad here, so it's more consistent in the demand. And then, of course, by April, demand should be back up. So I'm not really sure. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Now, as far as me finding a place, that actually goes into my third reason why this is complicated. And that is, I think the fraternity is going to offer me my job back. They reached out to me in summer, I think, of this past year, and they offered me my same job in Raleigh. Like, I'd be living in the same apartment, all that stuff. The pay had gone up pretty significantly, and I told them, like, I can't do it because I have a lawsuit and trial is in February of 2024. I said, but ask me for the 24-25 school year. And they said they would. So I'm kind of waiting on that. And if they don't reach out, I'm going to reach out to them. I don't know necessarily if Raleigh will be available, but I can probably find a location that's going to be somewhere warm. And I'm not tethered to the girl anymore, so I don't have to worry about whether it's somewhere she could go or if we could commute or do long distance or anything. I don't have to worry about that. So what I'm thinking of is I'm going back to Ohio in April, or maybe May, depending on the weather. And around April is when they start recruiting for those positions for the following school year. So there should be like an overlapping period where I'm thinking about going back to Ohio for the summer, and around that same time, I should hear about whether I have this job. Now, if I get one of these jobs, I'm just going to do the busy season for furniture assembly. And before that busy season's over, that'll be the start of the contract for the new fraternity job. So that's best case scenario. That's $1,400 a month stipend and free housing and utilities. That's definitely my quickest, like, fast-tracked route to being rehoused. And John Doe says, what are the safest places for you to sleep so you don't get bothered? Well, there are certain kinds of places you look for. I don't want to put any specific places out there because, one, I don't want anybody to come find me, and two, if you make public, like, where you're staying, I mean, you know, that raises the opportunity for, like, the police to come tell you that you can't be there or something. Every place that I sleep is private property, and they're just businesses that allow people to park there. Now, there is an exception to that. I'm going to talk a little bit later. Hopefully I don't forget. I'm going to talk a little bit later about my co-working space and why I currently don't have one. But I'm getting, hopefully, I need $200 up front, and I'm like really struggling to get that. But I get the $200 up front to sign up for this new co-working space, and that includes parking and 24-hour access, and they have showers. It's kind of the perfect setup. I will be in a much better spot, but yeah, I'll tell you guys about that in a bit. But as far as where to sleep, I do want somewhere quiet, but I do also have earplugs, so a reasonable amount of noise is okay. I kind of have my thing set up in the back here, kind of stealthy. It's not obvious that somebody's sleeping in here. Like, they'd look inside and be like, man, that car is like really messy. But they're not gonna think that somebody's sleeping there. What is that? Oh, you guys can see part of my duvet. And then this is, oh, well, that's my coat. It's part of my sleeping bag. So I guess you can't really see that much. And you can see my towel. I didn't lay it out. I just threw it there so it would dry after I got out of the gym. What is in my teeth? All right. So anyway, they're all businesses. Now, there's an option possibly to sleep in my car at the co-working space, this new place I'm looking into, and like actually be allowed to be there and not have risk of being kicked out. And then so like, I don't have one place in the city. I have multiple places on different sides of the city, since my job takes me to different parts of the city. So like, for example, if I'm going to have a job in Concord, which is on like the northeast side of the metro area, if I have a job in Concord, the night before, I'll drive up there, I'll sleep at a place in that area, then I'll drive to a gym in that area that morning, get a shower there. So I have to plan all this stuff out beforehand. Logistically, that's a lot. But essentially right now, I have a place on the north side, a place on the southeast side, and then on the south to southwest side, I have actually several places down there I can stay. And then there is kind of a place on the west side I've only stayed at once, but it was fine. Kind of noisy from road, but if I needed to go over there, I could. Give me 1 second. What is going on? Okay, we're good. My mouth was driving me crazy. I had something stuck in my teeth. For those that have missed it, drink today, Diet Cherry Lemon Sundrop. It's a southern thing, I guess. Okay, I'm getting a little behind on the comments here. Stealth Boy. Stealth Boy, let me know. Are you a stealth camper? Is that what your name's about? It says, off topic, you guys should support Cricket World 2024 for your USA team too. I did not even know we had a team. I know very little about cricket. Sarwar W says, "Hey bud, not been here for a while. If you don't mind me asking, how come you moved out of the house with the elderly people? Also, what is the lawsuit regarding defaulted student loans?" So, my roommate tried to stab me, the old man that lived there. He got charged with aggravated menacing, and the police, told me, well, it's not safe for you to be there. So I didn't really have a choice in moving. I slept in my car that night because it was late at night and there just wasn't anywhere to go. And then I just decided to continue with that to save money, to just continue living in the car. Now the lawsuit, I sued my ex. It was defamation, abuse of process, negligence per se, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And it was regarding her filing a false restraining order against me. This has been going on for like 2.5 years. So, just this past Wednesday, I got word from the court. I had offered to drop it, like, after, I had a 3-hour deposition with her about 2 months ago. And as a result of what I had determined through the discovery process and then what I found out from the deposition, her lawyer asked, and I thought about it. I decided to drop the lawsuit. I do have reasons, which I am going to explain to you guys when I make the video. I know you're probably like, why the hell did you pursue it so far and then just drop it in the end? I do actually have reasons that I think will make sense to you guys. And I'm hoping I can find a tactful way to express them, like express my reasons without like tearing her down, because that's not my goal. But I'll do my best to walk that line. And no, my defaulted student loans are past the statute of limitations, so there's nothing they can do with those. Stealth Boy says, what type of job are you searching for? Well, I'm kind of like half-heartedly searching. I don't want anything that's going to get in the way of me trying to build this business of furniture assembly, and a lot of stuff would. And I also know that I'm leaving in 2 months, 3 months maybe, from North Carolina, so I can't get tied down to anything here. I can't really get tied down to anything in Ohio because I would want to leave again before winter. It's about impossible to get anything remote anymore, so that might not be an option. I would love to get back into the tech startup world, but it would be hard for me because I don't neatly fit into like a category of jobs that they usually have available. I'm open to a few things. But I mean, ideally, I'm just going to end up continuing to build this business, not just as a means to make enough income for me to get by, but I'm hopefully going to be bringing on some contractors as well. Oh, and guys, at some point, because my phone's down to 56%, it's on low power mode, but at some point, I'm probably going to have to start and idle the car just to charge the phone, and it's going to make some background noise, but I just want to let you guys know that, like, ahead of time. H is Maximus. Be a carpenter. It's the only trade where you are there from the start to finish. I mean, I do build furniture and sometimes cabinets, but not in that kind of sense. Like, it's like flat packed stuff from IKEA. So I guess I am building furniture and that aspect of carpentry, but I'm not like cutting wood. I mean, living in my car, you know, I definitely don't have the facilities to have any of the machinery I would need for that. And I'd have to think about whether there's a market for like how would I sell what I make kind of thing. I mean, I'm not opposed to going into some kind of trade, but I have to think about how old I am and whether it's going to be worth it. If I can support myself while I'm in training, that kind of stuff. And I'd have to find one that I'm actually like really interested in too, and make sure I don't do another program that's going to end up with me still not making money in the end. I have to balance all of that out. Wait, what is that? Stealth Boy says, I guess the recession hit that market too. Not sure which one you're referring to. Nick Town says, Mark seemed to have the worst luck with roommates. Lots of crazies. Well, see, that's the thing, is that, like, it wasn't even different roommates. It was the same guy. So if you guys go look at my roommate rant video from 2014, that's the same guy that tried to stab me in 2023. So it's not even like I had a series of bad roommates. I just had one bad roommate. It's just the second time around he had added 2 other crazy people into the apartment. I mean, I guess my ex counts, right? Like, you know, trying to hit me and throwing me out in the middle of the night and all that stuff. I mean, I guess we were living together, so I guess that counts as a roommate as well. But, yeah, and then Nick Town's just telling Sarwar the lawsuit was about my ex. John Doe says, what do you do for cell phone / internet? Some sort of truly unlimited plan. Yeah, so, John, I have AT&T. I have had AT&T since it was AT&T, and then it went to Singular, and now it's AT&T again, and has been for 10 years or so. I have an unlimited plan, and originally I got it because I was doing, it's 2017. I was doing Uber and Lyft, and I was just consistently going over my data plan. And they would add a gig for $10, and then another gig for $10. And I had these huge bills, and so I changed to an unlimited plan. Mine is not the highest tier plan, it's the one below it. So there's like unlimited and then unlimited with tethering. And mine doesn't have the tethering. That's $5 more a month. But I'm on my phone constantly. I mean, obviously I live stream from my phone, and I'm literally, you can see the woods behind me. I'm in a park and ride for the bus system. So like there's obviously not Wi-Fi here. Like I'm streaming over cellular data, and so probably what I would use of data just doing this would probably be a month allotment of data just for this. So basically I have to have an unlimited plan. But yeah, that's what I've got. It's unlimited talk, unlimited text, unlimited data, and the only thing I don't have is tethering. So, Nick Town says, yeah, Mark, I thought you were putting too much energy into the lawsuit, but so glad it worked out in your favor. I would have given up early on. I mean, it was really hard. I mean, it was a lot of work and a lot of learning. And I mean, you're right. Like there's so much other that I should have been putting time and effort toward. But this was really important to me because, well, for one thing, it was my relationship. That's really important to me. And her, I mean, she's, you know, even though things are terrible the way they stand now, like she's important to me. And I think it was also about my reputation, and I think that that's something that I have to take a stand for. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, like, and I'm gonna talk about this more in the video I make about the lawsuit, but I think probably the biggest benefit I got out of the lawsuit is that I didn't turn into like a supervillain, because like I'm not joking with you, like you watch movies like the origin stories of a villain, and you know it's some huge injustice that's done to them that like turns them evil. And when I got railroaded by the court and I felt completely powerless, that's what it felt like. And I felt like if I hadn't found a way to take some kind of action and to regain some sort of power in the situation, and I want to say, like, I have never felt a need for power until every ounce of it was taken, where I was completely helpless and at her will, basically. And then, like, you know, to not only have all this done to me, but then be blamed for it and told that it's my fault and that I'm the bad person. Like, I mean, if nothing else, I've accomplished standing up for myself and being able to take pride in that, gaining back a tiny amount of control and power over the situation, and therefore preventing myself from going like full, you know, insane, like super villain. Because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I think I would have just like turned evil if the world just continued to treat me like I was, you know, I was something terrible. So, that, I know it's really dark, sorry, but I will talk about that more in my video that I make about this whole thing and why I did all of this. And that's not the only thing I got out of it. I mean, clearly she was not willing to ever give me answers about what happened. And while I really still, and I will be honest with you, and I told her lawyer this, I still really don't know exactly what happened. You know, I still don't know why she disappeared one day. But I have so much more information now than she was willing to give me. So, I mean, it's better than it was, I guess. Uh, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So, all right. So I'm way behind on comments. So get back here. Ashley says, "Isn't the public library okay for a daytime workspace?" Kind of, sort of. You have to understand, I am in the Carolinas. They're not real big fans of books here. The libraries are very small, sort of few and far between. They have pretty short hours. Most of them close at like 7 or 8 p.m. In fact, I think they close at, I don't even know if all of them are open on Sunday, but I think they close at like 5. So I won't be able to go to one today. There have been some that I like have gone to and I literally can't even find a place to sit because they're so small. And they just don't have the facilities of libraries that I'm used to. Now, one good alternative that I found is that school's back in session for the semester. So there are colleges around here. Sometimes parking's an issue, but I have been able to get into colleges, and haven't actually been using their libraries, but I'll just like sit out in the hallway of a classroom building, get on the Wi-Fi, and they're generally open later. So yeah. Also, best luck ever. I'll go ahead and show you guys this because there's like a million different campuses, so you don't know which one I'm on. Well, there it is. It's Central Piedmont. It's one of the community colleges around here. I was sitting in the hallway using Wi-Fi, and they have really confusing parking restrictions. Like, there's no visitor parking at all. And I'm like, oh God, my car's gonna get towed. But I called them and I asked them, and they're like, no, it's good. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we're not gonna tow your car. But I don't really trust that. And I'm sitting there in the hallway, and there's like a stack of magazines, and I just see this laying here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a parking permit. It's a student parking permit for the semester. So I haven't put it on my car yet. I guess somebody just lost it. But I mean, that was like great luck, because obviously I can't buy that myself because I don't actually go to school there. But that community college has locations all over the city, so I can stop at whatever one I'm in the area at. So yeah, public library, sometimes malls, a lot of malls have Wi-Fi. I'm gonna be honest with you, there was one night I really needed Wi-Fi, and I went to a Cracker Barrel and sat in the rocking chair out front and used their Wi-Fi, because apparently they don't turn it off at night. Eventually I'm gonna have to tell you guys why I'm not in a co-working space, because it kind of solves all those problems. But I'm gonna get through the comments, and then I'll tell you guys about the co-working space. Jennifer says, so nothing came from the lawsuit. Had to take a call, so I missed a little bit. Well, I mean, so like, as I said just a few minutes ago, there were things that I got out of it. I didn't win and I didn't lose. They asked me a second time to drop it. They did offer me something. I actually turned it down. I think you guys might understand that a little bit more when I make the video about this, about like why I would choose to not accept that. But I mean, I'm not gonna get anything. Like, I'm not gonna get any of the money back, whether it be like the money she owed me or the like an award of damages. They're not gonna pursue anything against me either. I mean, not that they would have standing to, but they could still try. And it's kind of, I don't really know I can make that make any sense until I lay out everything and explain why I did what I did. But I came upon some information during the discovery process that I think a lot of you guys have already suspected, and I was starting to suspect, but it was confirmed. Something you don't normally encounter in a lawsuit. So, I had to make a decision about what I thought was right, I guess. So I don't know. But no, I mean, ultimately what I got out of it was information that I never would have got otherwise. Me not feeling like I just got totally screwed. I mean, I did get totally screwed by the system, but at least I clawed that back a little bit. And there are a lot of loose ends still to tie up that should make that better. I mean, there's some complaints I have to file. There's I have to go back to court and try to get my gun rights back. I have to what else? There's another big thing I can't think of right now, but like there's some stuff like that. Nicktown says, oh really, that was the same guy roommate. Yeah, it was the same dude. We had lived together. In 2014, I got a job there. Found him on Craigslist. I lived there like 2014 to 2015. And then when I got kicked out of the fraternity house in 2022, I was just like looking anywhere, like really anywhere for a job or for housing. And I looked up like rooms for rent. I saw that there was a room for rent in that city, which is Athens, and I looked and it said the name, and it was the same name, and I looked at the number and it matched the contact I still had in my phone. I was like, holy shit, like, you know, what are the odds the same dude is renting a place? So yeah, that just kind of worked out like that. Star Wars says, hey man, sorry to hear that. Jennifer says, so what's your next step in life / plans for 2024? Okay, so I am going to be making a video about that. I know it's late. I mean, I know we're already through the first month. And let's be honest, by the time I get that video done, we're going to be through the second month of the year. So it's probably going to be March that I post my video about my plans for 2024. But I also have not really been able to wrap my mind around that yet, because it was literally Wednesday, like 4 days ago, that I found out the lawsuit was dropped, because apparently no one thought it was important to tell me that. I mean, I sent the paperwork over, like, God, early December. And so, like, I have no idea, because they never sent it to me. Maybe it's been a month and a half that it's been over and I didn't even know. I thought that the other side was just like, I'm like, you asked for this. Are you going to sign it or not? Like, what? I have no idea what happened. I'm not going to know on that until on my way back to Ohio. I'm going to stop in Parkersburg. I'm going to go to the courthouse and I'm going to get a copy of the paperwork they were supposed to send me and see what the judge actually said in the order and that kind of thing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm spaced out for a minute. So, okay. So as far as my life plans for 2024, I'm going to make a video. I haven't really had a chance to think much about it because I've been so absorbed with the lawsuit, and trial's supposed to be next week or the week after. And I just was only thinking about that. I've been thinking about it the last few days, and I think I have an idea. There's a lot of things that could change greatly very quickly this year. So it's really hard to plan anything like completely solid. But I do have some ideas. And there is sort of like just an overarching theme of I've not been able to do anything in my life for 3 to 4 years at this point. And I need to get caught up. It's going to make me feel so much better. I mean, it's a huge part of getting my life together. And the way I think about it is the biggest problem I have in my life is that girl and that relationship. I've done everything I can for that, and it's not worked, but I don't have any other ability to make that problem in my life any better. So what I'm going to have to do to get my life together and make myself not feel so miserable all the time is to work on the other parts of my life, the parts that I am able to change and able to benefit. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, like, across the board, there's all these different things. The biggest one of which that I want to improve and make better, I don't have any control over. So I'm going to have to take some of the smaller things and improve them so that overall I end up, bringing my life back up a little bit. I mean, I'm going to talk about this again in the video I make, but I have almost 5,000 unread emails. Before she started causing problems again in 2021, I had 47. And those were unread because they were things that I needed to follow up with that were going to take like a day to make a project of. My credit score dropped from like a 700 to I think I'm like 550 now. And I'm only saying those two numbers, like the credit score and the emails, because it's really hard to quantify how devastating all this has been. And those are the two numbers that I can show that sort of just show the effect it's had. So I'm not like, those aren't my goals. It's not like I'm like, oh, go through all my emails. Let's like, that in itself is not that important. It's just more of the overall general sense of getting my life back together, getting caught up on things, all the things that I've not been able to do because I've been focused on the lawsuit. Yeah, so that'll make more sense once I actually make that video. I do have a big hang up on making videos right now. I would ask you guys if you could help me out with this. I need to raise $200. And if you do want to contribute to that, I would ask you to go to the PayPal link in the description of the video and send it there, because super chats are amazing and I appreciate it. But I don't see those until the next payout, which is usually at least a month away with YouTube. And PayPal I can have access to immediately. So let me get, I promise, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys why I need it, but I'm going to get back to the rest of the comments first, because I know you guys have been waiting. I'll do the comments and then I'll tell you guys about why I need $200. Okay, so Hement says, you're so cute. Thank you. I do not look good right now, by the way. I got to get my hair cut. It's out of control. But thank you. John Doe says, now you can look for the best market in the country for what you do. Yeah, I've never actually thought about that. You're right. I probably could. I mean, I'd kind of be tied to like a TaskRabbit region because that's where I get most of my leads from. But yeah, I'll have to think about that because, for me, it was like wherever I was, Columbus, and then wherever I could go that was warm, that my car could get to, because my poor car, where are we at? 230,000 miles. So it's not like I'm going to be driving to LA or anything. Oh, Flames777 says, what's your Myers-Briggs? I don't know. I am a clinical psych major. That's what my degree's in. So we were not allowed to take it. I mean, I know that like people like that test, but it's been, there's a term for it. I don't remember what the term is. Basically, for a very long time, like 30 years or so, it's been shown that it doesn't really represent anything. So we were not allowed to like really learn about it. We were just told that it was invalid. I see a lot of people, especially on their dating profiles, putting that on there. But just because they were like, this is not real, like, you don't need to know about this. I have never taken the test. I'm not opposed to it. I feel like that's probably, I hope that's not like the MMPI, the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. That's like 1,000 multiple choice questions. If it's like that, I'm not going to take the time to do it. But I am not opposed to taking the test and finding out. I think it'd at least be interesting. So, okay. So I'm at the end of the comments. You guys, if you have any comments, feel free to put them in the comments. And I'll get to them once I do my whole spiel here. But I wanted to tell you guys real quick what the deal is with the co-working space and the $200. Okay, so here's the deal. I've had a co-working space since June. It was in Ohio, and then they have locations all over the country. So the idea was when I moved south for the winter that I was going to go to another city that had locations of our co-working space. And there's like 5 locations here in Charlotte. So I was like, that's perfect. It's a straight shot down 77 from my hometown. And you know, it's a lot warmer down there. I'll be good. Well, the guy who told me that I could just come down here and all my stuff would work, apparently just didn't know what he was talking about. Because after I was down here for about 2 weeks, my thing stopped working. See, at my co-working space in Ohio, there are these key fobs. Like, this is it. I gotta send this back, actually. And you just scan to get in. Well, down here, they use an app. And, you know, so I was going in every day to whatever location I was closest to. And then on December 10th, I was there about 9 p.m. and it just stopped working. Now, we had a big storm that day and the roof was leaking. And so the owner, like the CEO of the whole company, came in randomly that night. I was the only one there. And he was checking on the roof because he knows the roof leaks. I told him what was going on and he got me set up and had somebody call me the next day. So what it was is, for the first time ever, my payment didn't go through. And the rule is that you can pay late, and there's no, I've never had to pay late before, but there's no late fee if you pay by the 15th. And then it's like a $10 late fee if you pay after that. But they explained to me that the guy that set me up, like, basically told me everything is wrong, like, was wrong. That like the systems don't match up, and that like he only set me up temporarily in the system. That normally when they have somebody come from Columbus to Charlotte, they're only here for a couple days. He set me up for 2 weeks of access. But they said, like, we're gonna have to completely switch over to our system. And anyway, it was just like a huge pain in the ass. And then they were also in the process here of changing their membership structure and their computer system. So they called me mid-December. They're like, okay, so we're just going to call you like late December or January 1st at the earliest. We'll be on the new system then. We'll get you set up, put you on the monthly membership. It was going to be $89 a month, which is actually cheaper than what I was paying in Columbus. And they just didn't give me the option of continuing to like pay. Like, even so, I just was without a co-working space from December 12th up until what would have been January 1st. But they promised me that they would call. They said they had to have this computer system implemented by the end of the year, that there was no way around that, and that they definitely were going to contact me. But then they never contacted me. And like, I've been struggling financially, so I haven't followed up with them. But I mean, not having a co-working space has been a huge challenge. I don't have anywhere to prepare food. I don't have anywhere to store food. When I was trying to like write stuff for the lawsuit, it's a huge pain in the ass to even try to set up my laptop right here in the car, in a parking lot, getting Wi-Fi, rather than having like a table. And It's like a whole thing. Okay, so I was doing like all of that, and what it came down to was I just don't think so. So basically, they forced me to cancel my membership with the place in Columbus. I got to mail this key fob back. I'm gonna sign back up there when I get back to Ohio, but they told me that this all was gonna just switch over automatically, and it didn't. So I haven't had a lot of stability since mid-December, and I've done a lot of searching to try to find out, well, like, what's a better option. And I finally found a place that is located in the center of downtown, but it has a parking garage attached. And the parking's free since you have a membership there. And basically, the idea is not only would I have 24-hour access, and they have showers there. Because, see, the problem is the showers are at the gyms on the outer edge of the city. So if my co-working space is downtown, I'm going to have to go out of the city to shower and then back into my co-working space, and that's like a 40-mile round trip. But this place in particular has showers at the co-working office. So, and then with the parking garage situation and free parking, I basically can sleep in a parking garage at the co-working space, and I can shower there. And I can mostly stay in the downtown area, which is going to save me a ton on gas, but it's also going to help me because I can stop eating out all the time, which is going to reduce my food spending. And because I've eaten fast food for every meal for the last like month and a half, I've also gained a lot of weight from doing that, and I'd like to not gain weight. So there's like a lot going on, but like it's $200 a month. Now I was paying $109 before. Most of the co-working spaces here are significantly more expensive than that. But this one's $200, and with the included free parking, which is downtown, and the fact that they have a shower, like that really seems worth it for me. So that's what I'm trying to do. And so that's why, look, I don't expect you guys to raise me $200. So I don't feel right asking for that amount. But if any of you would like to contribute toward that, you can put that in PayPal. John Doe says it sounds almost like an apartment. So what it is it's a newly built office building, but it's right downtown. Like there's an inner belt that goes tightly around like the downtown skyscraper area. This is just on the other side of that. But it's like walking distance to everything downtown. Actually, if you guys know where the Carolina Panthers play, Bank of America Stadium, it's almost directly next door to that. So in this building, it's an office building, has an attached parking garage, and so it has some like restaurants and things like that on the first floor, some random offices upstairs, the co-working space, and a few other things. I think, from what I gathered, I think technically the showers, because I thought they'd have a gym in there, but they don't. So the showers, I think, are for bicycle commuters, so that like you can ride your bike to work and then shower before work to not be gross. That's the best I can tell for what they're actually for. But by having the kitchen in the co-working space, then yeah, absolutely. So the plan would be most nights, especially like when I don't have a job scheduled the next day, I would literally go into the co-working space and I would stay there until late at night like I normally do, because I don't normally go to bed until 2 or 3 in the morning. I could be productive because I just have a place to spread my stuff out and work. I can eat food that is not fast food, because I can actually make it in the microwave there with a little kitchen. And then I can go in my car and sleep because I'm allowed to be there because I have that membership, right? So I'm not going to get run off from the parking garage. And I've already been down there. I've checked the parking signs. It doesn't say no overnight parking or anything like that. And then I will get up in the morning, go from my car down to the showers, get ready, and then I can just go right back into the co-working space and do my work there during the day. That's the plan. I just need to get the $200 up front, because that's another thing is part of me like getting so caught up. I'm so behind on everything. I'm now on a payment plan with Navient, so my student loans are on track. I need to set something like that up with my credit cards because I'm only 3 months behind on those. But I need to get on a payment plan with them. I have some invoices from the lawsuit that I haven't paid yet. I've got to figure out how to get that done. And I'm slowly getting stuff fixed on the car. Oh, yes, guys. Okay, thank you. So 2 things. From the money that has been donated in the past, I had a couple people send me money on PayPal last month. That enabled me to get a pair of socks. Well, like a 6-pack of socks, which is like a huge deal. Because all of them had holes in the bottom. So I now have usable socks, and the goal for this month, hopefully, is I'm also going to buy a pair of pants because I'm down to 1. I would love to get a pair of jeans, and I'm waiting till Hollister has their next $25 sale. So that's the goal there. But with the AdSense revenue, it came in on the 21st of this month. So that was for like the last 2 months. And that includes all the super chats that you guys have given. With that, I'm going to try to get it scheduled for tomorrow. I'm going to get my oil changed. My car will be so happy because I don't think I've changed the oil for like 20,000 miles. I actually have been really good about that up until this time, and I literally just have not had the money. I mean, it's seriously way overdue. So I am going to be so relieved to get that done. And then because I pretty much stay here in the city, I won't have to have that done again until after I get back to Ohio sometime. I think tonight I'm going to be able to replace the side marker lamps. Those have been out for like 2 years. I'm slowly trying to get stuff fixed, guys. And the next thing is going to be the engine air filter because it's disgusting. So I got to get some money saved up to do that. Fresh lights. Let me actually, I'm going to do something here. I will get right back to your comment. So, oh, what was that? Fresh lights. Thank you so much for the comment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you hold a second. So your comment was just joining, not sure if already discussed. Are your records cleared now after the lawsuit? What does it mean for background checks? Okay, so there's like a whole thing I got to go into for that. Give me a minute. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, thank you guys for being lenient. If you ever knew me in person, you guys would understand. I'm down to 39% battery, so I'm gonna have to run the car just to keep us charged here. So you're gonna hear some background noise. Okay, so fresh lights. That's something that I actually need to cover when I make that video. So I'm gonna have to make a separate video. There's just so much to go into about the lawsuit. To tell you guys all the stuff I couldn't tell you what was going on, and to tell you like how it ended, what I got out of it, why I decided to end it. I feel like that part of it's probably confusing for everyone. Both the people who were against me filing it and the people that were like encouraging me. Because without the context, I know it doesn't make any sense, but when I get that video out and I explain my reasoning, I think you guys will see why I did what I did. But okay. So as far as what you're asking there, are my records cleared after the lawsuit, and what does it mean for your background checks? So it's not going to do anything with that. There was nothing with the lawsuit that could have fixed that. Without going into like all the details, West Virginia is either the only state or one of the only states that does this. See, there's a National Domestic Violence Registry, and the states are not required to participate in it. And like I said, I think West Virginia might be the only state that does. The issue is when they decide to report to it. And I'm not going to go into all the specifics, but they do it way too early. And once it's reported, it can't be retracted. They can update it, and they can say that it's been dismissed, but it's still there. It still comes up. And also, you as a person not in law enforcement can't even check it to see if it actually was, marked as expired or dismissed or whatever. There's no way you would know. But the thing about the lawsuit is, even if I had won the lawsuit, it wasn't going to change that. That was one of the things I was suing for damages, because of it coming up on background checks, and I got deactivated from Uber Eats over that. So by me dropping the lawsuit, it doesn't change that, because winning the lawsuit wouldn't have changed that. The only thing winning the lawsuit would have had an effect on is I could have got money for damages that caused. And not that they would probably give you a chance, but if I had to go through a background check process and it came up, if they did, in the unlikely event they actually gave me a chance to explain myself, I could say like, yes, that was filed against me by my ex who was being vindictive, and I sued her over it. A jury sided with me and I won, and although that's on there, I have this confirmation later on that that wasn't real. But that's a whole lot of ifs to get to that level, things that I don't know if I could have accomplished. And in the end, I don't think it's likely that any place would give me the chance to explain that. And even if they did, I'm not sure that it would still be like acceptable enough to for whatever they find on there to not be a problem. So that's just something I'm stuck with. Now, It does fall off eventually. It is supposed to be gone January 1st, 2028. But again, I don't have any way to check that. Now, I do have a fraternity brother who is a police officer with the NYPD. I have talked to him about this before. I figure he would probably run it in their system and see if it comes up. Just to see if they did actually file the paperwork properly, to change it. And then if they didn't, I'm probably gonna have to get a lawyer in West Virginia and have the lawyer force the court system to do it, and it's gonna be a whole huge mess. But even still, it's gonna be in the system. My name's going to pop up like forever. It'll just show there was a restraining order, it expired, and it's now been past this timeline of however many years it is, to where it's still technically in the system, but at that point they have to mark it as like, I can't think of the terminology, but like irrelevant because it's been so long. John Doe, just sent you a little money on PayPal. Hope it helps, man. Hey, thank you. I haven't seen it yet because I've got, my phone's actually on Do Not Disturb, just so I'm not constantly getting notifications while I'm filming. But I appreciate that, man. I will, I'll check that after I get out of here. So yeah, everything that I raised today, PayPal wise, is going to go toward getting that co-working membership, because not only do I think that's going to elevate, you know, my standard of living a good bit, but I think that if I can just get the cost up front, that's going to work out as far as saving money overall, because eating out is so freaking expensive, but I don't have another option right now because I don't have a kitchen, so I have to eat out 3 meals a day. And the second thing is, I just think I'd be way more productive getting stuff done if I just had a, you know, a comfortable place to be and set up on the table and keep my phone charged, and instead of just idling in my car for hours to charge the phone, stuff like that. So I appreciate that, man. I hate asking for money, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. Jennifer says, are you staying in your car for a while more, or are you moving into an apartment soon? So I'm gonna know within the next couple months what I'm doing. As far as living in the car, it's doable in North Carolina. January is the coldest month, and we're through that. I've looked at the weather for the rest of the week, and it's going to be, yeah, like reasonably warm. So I should be good for really the rest of the year. So as far as getting into another place, with the way my finances are, there's no way I can afford a place. And I can't, how do I say this? So I can't afford a place, and I don't, even if I had enough money coming in, I don't have a way to have a proof of income, really, in order to prove that. So, because I mean, like, if you go to a rental company, they're going to want you to show and prove that you can afford it. I don't have the paperwork to do that. So, the idea right now is I'm going to continue living in the car through April, maybe May. At that point, I'm going to move back to Ohio and continue living in the car. But by April, I should know if I got that fraternity job for the fall. And if I do, then that means that I'll be living in the fraternity house. And that's going to be the quickest way for me to get housed somewhere. They generally reach out in, well, they advertise the positions in April, And I know that in the past, I had the opportunity to move in by July. So I'll probably take them up on that. So, I mean, we're at the end of January now. So February, March, April, May, June, July. So like 6 months from now, if they offer me the position, I'm going to have to move to wherever that is. And I mean, that could be anywhere. But as long as it's somewhere warm, I'll probably take it. It just depends. Because like 3 years ago now, I want to say they had like 8 positions available. There was Raleigh, which is NC State, and then they had University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, which both of those, I would generally think that Oklahoma is warm. I mean, it's just north of Texas, so I've only been to Oklahoma in the summer, so I don't know what it's like in the winter. But then they had Cornell in Ithaca, New York. That was not going to work. That was way too cold. And University of Alaska. So, yeah. And then as fun as it would be, we do have a house at the University of Hawaii, but I have no way of getting my stuff there, and everything's really expensive. So, even if I got free housing in Hawaii, I don't think I could afford to live there. So I guess to answer your question, within 3 months, I should know if I have housing by July. And if I don't have housing by July, I guess the plan is to continue living in the car. And then I will travel back south again next winter. In the meantime, I'm just trying to get my life and my finances together to slowly eventually be rehoused, but that might be a longer process. Freshlight says, how's the TaskRabbit and food delivery going there in NC? Are you getting enough jobs? Well, it's okay, now food delivery, there's like nothing. I mean, Instacart, DoorDash, just, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I did not even turn it on this weekend. It's been so bad. There's just been nothing. And when you can even sign in, I mean, I get so frustrated because I'm on there for hours, like willing to work, and I just get the most insulting offers. It would be like $11 for 22 miles, but then you have to consider that I have to drive all the way back, so it's like $11 for 44 miles. There are very, very few acceptable orders. And it's just, I'm turning down offer after offer after offer, just sitting in my car for like hours, literally not making any money. And I only do that when I haven't gotten booked for TaskRabbit. Instacart, if you go to the right places, you can get some fairly okay offers. I'm not sure that the work that you have to do with shopping and everything is worth it for the money that you get, but you are making like okay money, like maybe $20 to $25 an hour, not including taxes and vehicle expenses, which is clearly not nearly as good as furniture assembly, but on the days that I don't have a task for furniture assembly, then I'll do this. But I think it was Thursday, I turned the app on, and I ended up, I think I got like maybe 3 offers that like were fairly decent, and I normally would have taken, but I don't know, maybe it's my attitude. I'm just like, no, I'm not. It was like 20 items for like 10 miles, $25, but I'm like, I do not want to drive to Costco and fight that and get parking and deal with those people. Just, was like not, I'm like, I cannot deal with this. I know I need the money, but now I will say tonight, I turned on my TaskRabbit availability for like, I think like 4 p.m. and later today, but I haven't gotten anything. So I won't be doing that. So I'm actually going to be turning on DoorDash later tonight. See if I can get anything. I mean, if I make 20 bucks tonight, I'll be happy. So really, to answer your question with food delivery, it's terrible. I'm relying really on TaskRabbit, and one interesting thing actually is I've not been able to generate any furniture assembly tasks outside of TaskRabbit. Now in Ohio, like 98% came from TaskRabbit, but I would get some from like Nextdoor, and I did Facebook and Instagram advertising, and I've tried different things. I'm not getting anything. And even like when I've posted on, say, like Nextdoor, people react. People will comment or they'll like the post, but like nobody's actually taken me up on building anything. So, as far as getting enough tasks, no, I'm not, but that's partly on me. I did lower my rate, so I'm getting more than most people. I'm only charging $25 an hour, but the thing about it is I turned off my availability. So I took Monday and Tuesday last week off because those are my days I normally take off. But then I took Wednesday and Thursday off because Wednesday I thought I had to prepare for the pretrial conference, and Thursday I thought I was going to be in the pretrial conference all day for the lawsuit. And then I didn't find out until Wednesday evening that wasn't even happening, and by that point I didn't get booked for Thursday. It's been a month. It's been a mess. Friday morning, 2 days ago, I built one dresser, and that was like 2 hours, so like 50 bucks. I did not get booked for yesterday, which really surprised me because usually I get booked on the weekends. I have 2 things booked for this week so far. Now I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off, so I'm Wednesday through Sunday. I have one dude that wants me to build a Bremnes daybed, which is a beast. Like, the last one I did took me about 3.5 hours, and that's the fastest I've ever done one. They used to take me like 5 or more. And then just before I started the stream, I got another request. I've got to, I haven't even looked at it, so I got to respond to it later and see. But, you know, so that's somebody booking me for later in the week. And what I've actually done, I used to make it so I'm not available till noon. But to try to start getting like a morning appointment and an evening appointment to make even more money, I've started booking myself at like 8 a.m., which for me, because of the whole logistic thing of me getting a shower and stuff, and driving to the gym and driving to a restaurant to get breakfast and stuff, I would have to get up at 4 a.m. to go to an 8 a.m. appointment. But I've opened it up from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I'm hoping that I can start getting that volume where I start getting morning appointments and then evening appointments, and getting like 2 tasks a day. That way, even if it's just my 2-hour minimum, like it's 1 item each, and it's 2 hours for the first, 2 hours for the second, that's still $100. And that doesn't sound that much, but that's like $500 a week. And that's not that much, but remember, I don't have rent and utilities, and I don't have the vehicle expenses of like DoorDash. There is still driving involved because I have to drive to the client's location and back, but I'm stationary while I'm doing the job. So there's some mileage to write off, but like it's not like I'm using my car to do the job itself. I've got to learn how to talk right. I always, after I get off these streams, I'm always like so hoarse for the rest of the day. So Fresh Lights, I guess the rest of the answer to your question is no, I'm not getting enough jobs, but that's probably partly because I keep scheduling myself off for lawsuit stuff I had to take care of. And now that I've opened up my schedule, I'm going to have to just kind of watch it for a while and see. But I can tell you I'm getting way more bookings than I did in Ohio for January. Oh, let's see. Parley says, hi, bro. Hey, what's up? Don't know if you've been on a stream before. If you have, I don't remember you commenting. But thanks for being here. Are you a regular subscriber, or did I pop up in your shorts feed? Oh, okay. We heard about Today Salute You. There you are. Okay, so yeah, you said Undercover Boss on Pluto TV, X Games on TV, Swimming on TV, Kansas City Chiefs game at 3 p.m., your live stream. Well, I'm not sure that I deserve to be, like, you know, mixed in with all of that stuff, but so yeah, so Max let me know about the game at 3. I didn't know Undercover Boss was still on. I don't know what Pluto TV is, but I don't have a TV, so maybe that's why. I've seen Undercover Boss episodes on YouTube, maybe? Somewhere I've watched some of them, but I think they're some of the older ones. Wait, okay. Bill Russell had a retracted message and then said Ravens -4. Today, Mark put all the DoorDash money on it. Okay, you're gonna have to explain that one to me. I don't know a lot about sports, and that sounds like sports betting, so let me know what you're thinking there. I do have DraftKings. I've never placed a bet, but I have DraftKings because you guys know that I do the advertising in my car, right? So I always have a wrap on. The campaign that I had before this was the DraftKings campaign. So I do have the app. I don't normally gamble, and I also have no idea what I'm doing. So we heard about Today Salute You says Sundrop is from Keurig Dr. Pepper. The thing about it, though, I mean, you're in Kentucky, right? I think. Yeah, I see Dr. Pepper 7-Up Incorporated. The thing about it is, well, of course, we have all the Dr. Pepper stuff in Ohio and in West Virginia. I've never seen Sundrop until I came to North Carolina, and it's everywhere. It's this, the regular kind, which is green, but you see pop machines that have the Sundrop logo. You know, I saw a dude who was like stocking shelves, but he specifically had like a branded Sundrop like logo polo shirt, and I've just never even heard of the brand. So for some reason they don't have it in Ohio or West Virginia. And there is one really weird thing about Sundrop that I've noticed. So it has a little bit of juice in it, which is nice. I mean, less than 1%, but it's nice it has any. But the weird thing is the sodium content. 220 milligrams, 9% of daily value. That's like really high, isn't it? Like, isn't it just normally there's just like a tiny bit of salt? It's weird for a drink to have so much salt in it. I mean, I'm drinking it anyway, but you know. Okay, so, I mean, one of the big things I had to tell you guys about was the whole co-working ordeal and how I don't have it anymore, and how, yeah, I'm trying to get into this other place. So, you got that out of the way. I think I've told you guys about as much as I can about the lawsuit, really. I'm hoping by the end of February I can get that up to tell you guys all the details. And just fair warning, there's a lot to go over. It's kind of dramatic, and it's also, I mean, it's going to be like an hour video, even after I go through and actually edit it. It's going to be a lot. So that's going to be one of those videos that you really want to watch. Because sometimes I get comments on my videos of like, this is so long. I'm just like, well, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot there. Okay, Mobile Legend Myanmar. Night, 2 a.m. in our country. All right, well, good night. Yeah, I'm glad you could catch me, because normally I do the stream a little later, so it'd be even later for you. But Mobile Legend, are you a gamer? Let me know if you see this comment before you go to bed. Let me know what games you play. Oh, yeah, hey guys, by the way, now that I have the tiniest bit of free time in the world, especially after everything closes for the evening and I'm stuck in my car, I have been playing some games. I still play Pokemon Go. I don't know if anybody else plays that. I am level 40. I'm ready to level up to 41, but I've got to do that one task where you catch 200 Pokemon in a single day. Now, clearly, as busy as I've been the last 3 years, I've not taken the opportunity to do that. Burma, Myanmar, and Southeast Asia. I roughly know where that is. But yeah, I play that, and then I also play PUBG Mobile. When I mention it to people, they're always kind of surprised, because they're like, oh wow, that's still around. And I didn't actually start playing it until I think last year, but I had played a game called Rules of Survival that I downloaded because there was an ad for it on Facebook. And I played that like years and years ago. And I kept hearing that it was really similar to PUBG, because PUBG actually sued them and they had to change some stuff to make it not as much like it. But the reason that I thought about this is Mobile Legend, sounds like a gamer tag, but they said that they're from Southeast Asia, and I found that, like, I think most of the people that I play with, my teammates online, are from that part of the world. So I just wondered. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this sounds really weird, and I'm not gonna add it to like my annual goals or anything. But I actually, since I have a little tiny bit more free time now, and like we'll have more so in the future, I'd like to spend some more time just doing stuff I want to do, and that would include playing all the games that I never got the chance to. So yeah, let's see. Mobile Legend Myanmar. Do you know our country? I really don't know anything about it. All I know, I want to say, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, there were a lot of people that moved from your country to the US, and I don't remember why that was, but I remember hearing about that, but I really don't know anything about it other than that. Did I pop up in your lives feed? It seems like Facebook, YouTube said that if you stream vertically, like I'm doing now, that you'll show up in the shorts feed. But that seems to have happened the very first time I did this, because like a whole bunch of people were new to the channel and subscribing and saying like, hey, like I found you. And then it seems like the 2 or 3 times we've done it since then, no one said that they've come from shorts feed. And I know I've gotten into shorts recently. I watch them probably more than long form video. Yeah, hey, Mobile Legend, that's fine. They said the listening skill not good, but I'm trying. I get it. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I speak Spanish pretty well. I say that, but I'm not confident enough to say anything in Spanish. But I guess I should say I can read and write Spanish pretty well. But when I hear people speaking it, I generally only pick out a couple of words. They always talk way too fast for me. So I get it. And I talk fast anyway. But yeah, I think, I don't know. When my life gets a little bit better, maybe when I get a place, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to buy an N64 and just like play through all the games like GoldenEye. And because you guys gotta understand, I haven't had my own system since the N64. I have a PS2 that I bought off a friend in college because he wanted the money to buy a PS3 when it came out. Okay, so Mobile Legend Myanmar is saying, please type Bagan in Google. So I can't do it right now because I'm full screen live streaming, but if somebody else in the chat wants to do that, let me know what that comes up. Craig, I am currently in North Carolina. I'm going to try to do DoorDash for a while, but I'm not thinking that's probably going to go very well. But I'm going to go sleep tonight in South Carolina. I mix up where I sleep so that, you know, like, it's not obviously I'm sleeping in the same parking lot every night. Sometimes I'll sleep the same place a couple nights in a row, but in South Carolina, there's an area where I have like 5 different places that I'm safe, that I know that I'm safe to sleep at. And so because tonight is my last working day of my work week, and the next 2 days I'll be off, I'm gonna go down there. It's like 10 miles away. It's in the same metro area, literally right across the state line, and I'm gonna go over there. That's where I'll be for the next couple of days. We were about to die salute you. Mark, I found a good way to distribute money across accounts. I was reading Yahoo articles, and of course the Dave Ramsey method. I know, I should not have stated this. So a month's worth of expenses in a checking account, $5,000 in a high-yield savings account, $5,000 in a brokerage account, in dividend stocks, making more than 4%. This has helped me. So what do you mean by a good way to distribute money across accounts? Like, what's the benefit of having them distributed like that rather than like just having it all in one? So a month's worth of expenses in a checking account. Okay, that makes sense. $5,000 in a high yield savings. Okay. $5,000 in a brokerage account in dividend stocks, making more than 4%. So I'll tell you guys, I had to cash out almost all of my retirement, almost all of my investments to pay my psycho roommate. Like, he just kept demanding more and more and more money. And I ended up selling off everything except for my Vanguard account, one of them, that has like $400 or $500 in Apple stock. Like, I sold off everything but the Apple stock. And then I have probably somewhere in the ballpark of like 10 different investment accounts that I either signed up for because they gave you one free stock or like $5 to invest or something. And so I have all of those, and I have like one stock in each of them or something. So a lot of them have buying power right now, like Webull, for example. I think a couple of the stocks that I got were delisted, so they put that money back in my buying power. So I think I actually have like a little over $100 that I could spend on buying something there. But my point is, I am actually getting dividends. Now, unlike everybody else, it seems, in the finance community, I don't consider dividends to be passive income. I guess I would only see it as income in the sense that, like, it contributes to my net worth, but I automatically reinvest all of that. So, whether it's set to automatically reinvest, like I know my Robinhood account is, or just if it goes, it pays the dividend, it's there in my buying power, and then I'm eventually going to do something with that. So Case says, any passive income? Well, not totally passive. I do get $180 every 5 weeks for the wrap that's on my car. I have to track my mileage for that. There's an app that you just track where you drive. So that pays my storage units, by the way. Like, that's enough to cover the payment for mine, the payment for my mom's every month. And then the only other passive income I can think of, I have some that will be coming. I mentioned to you guys that I'm bringing on contractors for my furniture assembly business. I had one person, she backed out. I had a dude here in Charlotte, and we got to the point where I sent him the W-9 to sign up as a contractor, and then he just never sent it back. But I'm getting closer to bringing people on board to help me. And I guess now that the lawsuit's out of the way, give me a few weeks to get some money earned and get some stuff caught up, but I'll go to the Small Business Development Center. I did find out there's one at UNC Charlotte, and I'll have them start to help me with some of this. I don't want to like put my business structure out right now, but I will have some passive income coming in from that. Yeah. E. Craig says, I had a roommate try to extort me 5 times for this and that, and I just left. He was crazy too. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what mine was doing. Like, mine knew I was in a really bad place and that I was homeless. When he took me in, told me I didn't have to pay rent for the rest of the month. And then once I got there, he was like, yeah, actually you do. He ended up taking maybe like $10 off what the full amount prorated would have been, and then kind of made a big deal about how he was cutting me such a great deal, even though I was paying him hundreds of dollars more than we agreed to. But I just was stuck. I had no choice. And then he started just like, I found out he was on this payment plan where he only paid 10% of the actual utilities. Like, whatever the electric bill was, he paid 10% of that because he was on some low income plan. But then he would charge us like the entire actual amount. And then he just kept wanting the money like earlier, and he kept trying to get me to pay the rent before the first of the month. And like, it was just, he was constantly coming up. Oh, then he started charging me for cleaning, and I had to pay one of the old lady roommates $30 a month to clean, so she would just shut up about it. Like, I don't, like, it just became more and more and more money. Okay, we are about to die salute you says, to make the most out of, say, $11,000 plus, you are making 4% plus more than 4% while having an amount in checking. If you kept it in one account, you would only be making, say, 4% in high yield savings or nothing in checking. Okay, yeah, I see that. I mean, this isn't a problem that I've encountered, I guess, because I don't have any money. It's actually why I have to do DoorDash tonight. I have about $10 in one account and about $6 in another account. And then my business account has about $90 in it from YouTube, and that's going to go to the oil change in the next couple days. So I have about $50 from TaskRabbit that should be paid out within the next couple of days. But yeah, things are really tight. So I don't have any kind of setup about like, you know, what to do. Now I will tell you guys, and I was going to wait and say this in a different video, because like when I finally make my 2024 goals video, but I will tell you that I am starting to save. I haven't done it yet, but I'm starting. The goal was to start February 1st, which we're pretty close to. So anything that I make starting February 1st a part of it will be saved. If it's Instacart or DoorDash, it'll be $1 per order. So like, you know, not that much, but $1 per order. If it's TaskRabbit, I believe what I'm gonna do is 10%, and I'm gonna split that 5% and 5%. 5% will go to savings, 5% will be to pay off like overdue debt. I'm not talking like my credit cards, but I'm talking stuff that I'm like multiple months of payments behind on. And then once those get caught up, I'll put the full 10% toward saving, just in like a high yield online savings account. I know it's not much, but I don't have any savings right now, so you know, it's at least a step in the right direction. E. Craig says, some states have very cheap land for sale. You can buy an acre in southern Texas for around $10,000. Yeah, so I keep saying I'm going to make this video and it's going to be this big surprise, but then like I've talked about it in videos. You guys know I own a half-acre of land, right? So I own a housing lot, like a lot to build a house on. I bought it back in 2018, and I pay the taxes on it. They're very low. They actually went up like a lot last year, but even still, I think it was $7 or something I had to pay, because before it was like $2. But yeah, so I own a half-acre lot. Again, when I finally get that video made, I will explain. I can't really do anything with that property. It's not a place that I could, well, not that I have money, but not a place that I could like live on. Let's see. But yeah, no, I'm open to that idea, and I actually somehow, I told you guys I've been watching YouTube shorts. Somehow they started recommending some random guy to me. I think it was because a lot of the videos have his dog in it, and I get like a lot of animal video recommendations. But I started watching this guy with his dog, and it's 65 degrees now. It warmed up like 15 degrees since I started. Okay, so I started watching this guy and his dog, and it turns out he's a homesteader in West Virginia. So like I've kind of been watching him. I mean, I've had the idea for a long time to get a small piece of property and get like a used RV Like, just one of the ones you park, not one that has, like, the car part attached to it. And just live on a property. You know, basically the same as car living, but a little more luxurious, but still not paying rent. I'd have to find the right place to make that happen, but I'm not at all opposed to, like, getting a small piece of land. It would have to be somewhere that has good cell phone service and good internet, but I mean, I could get Starlink. That's not that expensive. It's good internet. I think it's around $140 a month. So, you know, that's doable, because you can even get that in the mountains of West Virginia. So I don't know. I mean, I think that more long-term, that is kind of the direction that I'm going, because I'm really not trying to go back and rent. I don't want to get back into that. I mean, God, the 1-bedroom apartment I had in 2020 it was $689, including water and washer and dryer rent. It's probably $1,200 or more a month now. I literally just can't afford to live anywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna have to buy land and then, like, buy a used RV. And I mean, that's not where I'm gonna live my whole life. I'm gonna use that as a stepping stone to move into something better. But I think I have to do things differently than most people do, because it's just, like, rent is just a waste of money. Yeah, you said Southern Texas. I mean, there's places everywhere. Like West Virginia, even rural Ohio. But, like, once I get my finances more together, that's something I'll look into. I mean, and if I do, you know, I will make videos about it. I'll make videos about buying the land, improving the land, you know, living out of a camper, and, like, all those things. We Who Are About to Die salute you says, for example, I make $50 a month in high yield savings account and making $100 a month in my brokerage. That is $150 more than if I kept it in checking. $50 more if I kept it in high yield savings. Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean as far as it, like, generating money. It's just, for me, it would just keep, I don't know how to explain it. I just wouldn't consider it passive income because I can't use it, I guess. Like, it's not like it's bringing in money that I can then use for, like, living expenses. If I had, say, you said, like, $50 a month in your high yield savings, that $50 a month would just stay in there, and that would just, like, continue compounding. And same with, like, your $100 a month in your brokerage, that would just stay in there for reinvestment, rather than me, like, withdrawing that and being able to use it for expenses. Case says, is stock viable? How much money did your stock make you so far? I don't know if you were talking to me or We Who Are About to Die. Honestly, I have no idea. I would have to go look. The only stock that I didn't sell off, except for, like, the random ones that I got for free, is the Apple stock that I bought back in, I don't know, 2016, something like that. I mean, it has increased quite a bit in value, which is why I didn't want to sell it, because I've made such a, like, I don't know the terminology. Like, the cost now is so much more than the of what I purchased it for, that if I sold that, then I would realize all of those gains, and then they would be taxable. So I don't want to do that. I used to know what I was talking about with investing. Also, I did not get punched in the eye. I don't know why I have a black eye. I didn't get very much sleep last night, and I stayed up super late, so maybe I just look terrible. I don't know. Hey, thank you for whoever's sending that. I don't know what that means, but thank you for sending the hearts. I don't know what that means, but okay, cool. I don't know. I don't even know how you send that. We who are about to die salute you. KCC versus BR. See you later, Mark. Thanks for the live stream. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being here. Yeah. No, I understand if you guys got to go watch football. And Derek Reaper says hello. What's going on? Hey, man. Did you find me through the shorts feed, or was I in your subscriptions feed? So LA says, could you live on the half-acre lot you own now? Short answer is no. And I'm trying to not give away like a ton of information, just because I do plan on making a video all about like the property, and there's a whole backstory to it. But there's a few reasons why I really couldn't. Yeah, Case, I mean, I know you, and I know that that you came up subscriptions feed. Reason I was asking is I don't think Derek's commented on a live before, and YouTube says that if you if you live stream in vertical format, that they'll promote your video in the shorts feed. I know I watch a lot of shorts, and I've never come along a live stream that way. But the first time I did this, we got a ton of new people that somehow found it that way. But then every time I've done it since, it doesn't seem like anybody is coming in from that. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, so LA, to answer your question, I couldn't live there. Part of the reason is, and this is a me thing, you guys know that I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder years ago. I went through therapy, so I'm not diagnosable with it anymore, but I have like a lot of issues with, I guess, anxiety, and I cannot stand the sound of cars. Like, it has something to do with my nerves. I cannot stand like traffic noise. It genuinely makes me miserable and angry. And the half acre that I own is right on a main road. It's a state route, so an Ohio state route, and it is a main road. Like, it's the main road that goes through the middle of the county, so there's a lot of traffic on it. Even late at night, there would be at least a few cars passing every few minutes, and because it's only a half acre, whatever I sat there, whether it be a trailer or whatever, it's going to be fairly close to the road. I would literally go insane. I can't do that to myself. So that's one reason. The other reason is that I still jointly own it. Like, Ohio is weird. They have this thing called joint tenancy. I fully own the property. Like, but my cousin, who I've never met because he's like a third cousin twice removed or something, owns it as well. So two people fully own this property. And that makes things really complicated. Technically, I can do whatever the hell I want to with it, but he can also do whatever the hell he wants to with it. So let's say I built a house there. He absolutely would have to let me do it. Now, he could come back the next day and tear it down, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing I can do, and I'm just out the money. At the same time, if I built the house there, even though I'm paying for the entire thing, he owns 50% of it, of the value, and if he wanted to move in with me, I couldn't stop him. So it gets into like some really weird legal stuff just because of the way it's set up. So that's another part of why I can't really do anything with the land. And then the third reason, honestly, is just where it's located. For where it's at, it's a great location. It's one of the only pieces of flat land in the entire county. It's right on the main road. It's really good farmland. But I have to be able to work. Like, if I had passive income 100% supporting me, I could probably do that. But I have to be in an area where I can work. And it's in Washington County, Ohio, which is, I mean, this property is maybe 15 miles from Parkersburg, which is my hometown. This is the last piece of my great-grandma's farm. And I just wouldn't have opportunity to make money. So I guess actually when passive income becomes more of a thing for me, this particular reason can be eliminated, but because of the other reasons, I'm not able to. I mean, I have plans, like what I want to do with it, which I'm going to go over in the video when I talk like exclusively about that. The hang up is like me having the money to do it, and also figuring out what my cousin's doing, either getting his permission or like buying him out, or like whatever ends up happening, because he's also like 80 years old. My mom told me that his son doesn't seem to be interested in it, so I might be able to buy it off his son. I don't know. So, oh, Case says subscription feed here. What are you going to do on that land? So I can't live there. I have a lot of ideas. I mean, when I get the situation with the cousin worked out, I mean, I could build a house there. I'm not going to live there, but I could rent it out. I've thought about renting it out on like The Dirt, which is an app for people to park their campers there, or long-term storage for boats or something. Now, my grandmother, or my great-grandma, when she owned the entire surrounding area, including all the housing lots that have been sold off and stuff, and the farm back there, she had Burma shave signs all the way down the road. And I have seriously thought about putting advertising, because it's on this like main stretch, and selling billboards essentially. Not like the giant ones in the sky, but smaller ones near the ground, because they'd be very visible and have a high traffic. So I thought about that. I thought about having it sharecropped. Yeah, I mean, because we used to have sharecroppers when my grandparents owned the property. That same family's still around. They'd probably do it. Oil is another thing. That property has oil on it. I just don't know. You have to have a certain, like a big enough area to drill, and I don't know if half an acre is big enough. That's something I have to look into. There's a bunch of different things I could do. I could even have a cell phone tower put there. I don't know if there's a need for one, because it seems to have pretty good service, but like we could even do that. There's a lot of different things, and even I could build some apartments there. Mateo Gabriel Madrid Romero. Hola. Hey, where are you from? Do you speak English? Your name and your comments in Spanish, so I'm just wondering. Fresh Lights, have you considered renting it out? Yeah, that's one of the many options. Whether it be renting it out to farm, renting it out to camp on, or store something there, or actually or yeah, building a house there and renting that out. Case says your cousin's 80 years old. Yeah, well, you know, he's probably more like 75, but he's like my mom's age, and my mom's 73, 74, something like that. 75. No, my mom will be 75 in March. Okay, well, anyway, so yeah, he's like my mom's age roughly. So without going into like the million details about this, he is a cousin from my mom's side of the family. I don't think I've ever met him, or if I did, I was really little and he was like at a family reunion. I don't know like a lot of them very well. I just know my grandma's sister married his dad or grandfather. I'm not sure. Something like that. So anyway, there's, yeah, so that's how he's like, he's not a first cousin. Well, maybe he is. I have to put that into Ancestry and see, because I always have to rely on the relationship calculator on there. I think maybe he is a first cousin, like twice removed. But anyway, oh, John Doe says, imagine you were sitting on a fortune of oil and just don't know. Well, I do know there's oil on that land because, like I said, my great-grandma owned that farm. And over the years, my grandparents and then my uncle and now my cousin have split it up and sold off. I mean, it's basically a housing development now, on both sides of the road. It's just the only lot that is not sold off is the one that I jointly own. So there, within the last 3 years, there's been a house built on either side of my lot. So it doesn't look much like a farm anymore, but it was the farm that my grandpa was raised on. So let's see. But yeah, no, so I got lost in that. Yeah, so anyway, there are at least 2 oil wells and a natural gas well that either my great-grandma or my grandparents had producing there. The other thing is too, technically, now my mom may have sold them all off, but she swears that every couple years she gets a call from a random attorney that she's never heard of. And they buy more of them from her that she didn't even know existed. But my family, and this is again another video that's going to come eventually, I am the first generation of my family to be poor. And I'm poor because both my mom and my dad individually inherited fortunes and then completely squandered them, so I didn't see any of it. So I'm the first generation of my family to be poor. But my mom also so severely mishandles her finances. She has no idea what she has. So, like I said, every couple years, an attorney will call her and be like, hey, we'd like to buy your oil rights for this property, for this well that you've been getting these royalties from. Or they're not called royalties. I forget what they're called. Residuals? I don't know. But anyway, and she'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? I've never gotten any of this money. And it's been, you know, maybe a generation or two prior, tied up in probate, and it's a whole freaking mess. Anyway, my mom owns a lot of oil wells and a lot of oil money that has been passed down over several generations, at least to my great-great-grandparents. Because I do know for one thing, when they would sell off property, they used to own a ton of property. And when they would sell off property, they would keep the oil and mineral rights. So they would have this passive income coming in. And, You know, my mom did say something about my grandpa used to get a check for like 90 cents a month or something, um, because the wells weren't producing very much. But she just over the years they keep finding her. Like, they keep researching who owns this stuff, and they find her. And the way it normally is it's split between like 100 people, because it's like all the descendants of like a great 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 grandfather. So then, you know, like 90 cents a month is like your share of it. But there's a whole bunch of them. So yeah. So I mean, it's quite possible that maybe I would get oil money from the land, or it might be, you know, eventually I might inherit my mom's rights to stuff, and then an attorney contacts me and is like, hey, we owe you, you know, 100 years of back rent in whatever oil field this is. So maybe for once my ancestors being terrible with their finances will work in my favor. Let's see. So TM USA says, wow, I just joined. Figured I'd be listening to the recording. Yeah, hey, I mean, we got a lot of people on. I mean, yeah, eventually I will have to go, but for now, we're 2.5 hours in, and you know, people are still here, still watching. We got a good number and a lot of questions asked. So yeah, I mean, surely there's a lot you've missed. You probably have to go back and watch it, and that's completely fine. But thank you for being here for now and seeing what you can live. Jennifer says, how do you stay away from depression during hard times? I think depression is just my natural state now. I mean, if I don't appear depressed right now, like I actually am. I'm very depressed. But I guess I don't avoid it. I mean, I guess I try to make the best of it, but you know, there's only a certain extent that you can do that. I think I'm just so used to hard times, and I'm so used to being depressed that I'm just used to it, I think. It's worse like in the evening, especially when everything's closed for the day and I don't have anywhere to go and I just sit in my car. I think that's when it really shows that, like, okay, or if it's Friday or Saturday night and I'm like, oh man, everybody's like out with their friends. I'm like, oh, I don't have any friends. I don't have a significant other anymore. Like, it's Friday and Saturday night, everybody's going out and doing stuff. I'm like, I'd like to do that, but I don't know anybody. So that's when I see it the most, I think. But how do I even get to know anybody? Because I'm only going to be here for 2 or 3 more months, and then I'm going back to Ohio, but then I'm not staying there permanently. I don't know. I don't know what to do with myself. Emma, hello. So Emma, are you a regular subscriber, or did you come in from the live feed? Case says, I work at a shelter-ish place. Seen a lot of homeless women getting boyfriends. Ever try hooking up with homeless women? Both get some emotional support. Well, it depends on what you mean by hooking up. I don't do hookups. Like, you probably never heard a guy say that before, but like, yeah, I don't, like, sexually, I don't do hookups. I am not aware that I have seen a homeless woman the whole time I've been here. I don't really know what one would look like. This is something I tried to explain to somebody on Nextdoor a few weeks ago. Somebody was talking about, like, homeless people and how there was like a homeless person and they wanted to go, like, say something to them, and there was this guy that posted a comment and he was like, just leave him alone, he doesn't want to talk to you. And people were like giving him shit for saying that, and then I chimed in. I'm like, no, like, really, like, I live in my car, I'm technically homeless. first of all, we try really hard not to look homeless so that we won't look out of place, or like be profiled. But secondly, like we really don't want it to be acknowledged, and we don't really want to be approached. And I think people don't understand that. So it would be really hard for me to ever see a woman and think, wow, she's homeless. But like, you know, there are some that are like, you see guys especially, it looks like only guys, but that are obviously homeless. And I've seen guys here like that, but I've never seen girls here like that. I'm actually trying to think if I've ever even seen one in Columbus or in Parkersburg. Parkersburg especially, I know a lot of the homeless people. Like, I know them by name. Like, I've had lunch with Richard. He's the guy that talks to himself in the locker room and lives on the courthouse steps. But I can't think of ever seeing a homeless woman. I mean, Case, are you recommending that? Like, are you saying I should just go find a homeless woman to hook up with? John Phillip, hey, what's up? Let's see. So Jennifer says, saying goodnight. Thanks, Mark and everyone. Yeah, thanks for being here. I know, well, actually, I guess this one worked out better for you since it was a little bit earlier. We were about to die. Salute you says, I'm back. Why do I not see Derek Reaper on here? Did he block me? I have no idea. I see it. It's right before LA's comment. He's got a blue profile circle thing. Oh, you know what? So now that I look at it, it has his name and then 2 fire emojis, but then the message is gone. It just says message retracted. So maybe because he erased the message, maybe it just doesn't show it to you at all. I'm not sure. TMUSA, how can your mom own property she doesn't know about? She should be paying taxes on that land, no? Surprising her nursing home hasn't found those assets. It's a whole mess. I mean, you got generation after generation that just were so rich that they never even bothered trying to figure out what all they owed or owned, because they just had so much that they never had to worry about, like, you know, money. They had plenty coming in, so they didn't care if they lost some of it. And that includes, I think, paying taxes for it. My mom was especially bad with her finances. And then I don't believe, now I don't know because I don't own it myself and I haven't looked into it myself. I don't believe that you have to pay taxes, like property taxes, if you own mineral rights. I think it's only on the land that you pay taxes. So if it's been divided, which a lot of West Virginia has been, where the land is separate from the mineral rights. Give me a second. Okay, we're good. The car is not on fire. I saw something back here that looked like smoke. So yeah, anyway, I think that's divided. I'd have to look it up. I think you might not have to pay taxes. The only thing you might have to pay taxes on is the actual income on those royalties or whatever it is you're called that you're getting. But if it truly is like 90 cents a month like my grandpa was getting, I think if you don't report that, the IRS is probably not going to audit you or do anything about it. So that might be what happened. But this stuff was all supposed to be taken care of in probate. But honestly, you guys know my experience with the legal system. I don't think judges know what the hell they're doing. So I think it's been screwed up generation after generation after generation. And as far as the nursing home finding the assets, they have not looked into it. They did force her to liquidate her assets before she got on Medicare or Medicaid or whatever when she got in there. But like she keeps finding stuff. Like she found like an entire retirement account. And yeah, when she found out about it, they made her like get rid of it. But she keeps finding little things that she didn't even know she had. We were about to salute you. I usually have a weird way I watch football games. I will watch until either team scores a touchdown in the first quarter, or when one team scores 21 points and a first down with the other team at 0. Then I will watch the fourth quarter. This has helped me watch multiple games at once. Okay. I don't know what to say to that. I don't have, I guess, are you saying that like from the first quarter you get an idea of how the game is going to go and then you just go back and watch the ending of it? Honestly, I don't know all that much about sports. Football is probably the one I know the most about, and I don't know why, because I've never intentionally tried to learn about it, but I do know the basic structure, and I know a good amount of the terminology. Fresh Light says, have you ever looked for a job of taking care of some property while living there? So that's essentially what I'd be doing with the fraternity job. Which, by the way, I remember a comment earlier, somebody asking me if I missed the fraternity, living in the fraternity house, and I don't know where that comment went, because I don't see it now. Whoever you were, I didn't mean to skip your comment. So basically living in the fraternity house is that. Like, I'm just living there, doing, like, hiring contractors to fix the stuff these guys are breaking, and then also, like, collecting rent. Well, I mean, they're supposed to pay online, but if they don't, then I have to go talk to them and get them to pay their rent. So it is kind of like that. I've also, though, there are sites, like one is called Trusted House Sitters, I think. And it's where you do house sits. And normally it's not just taking care of the house. Like, you're generally there to take care of the pets. I've thought about it. There's no pay, but I mean, you get to stay in the place for free. I've watched videos online, and I just haven't gone through, because you have to pay, I think, to sign up. So I just haven't gone through with it. But that is definitely one of the options that I might try eventually, is just staying in somebody's house while taking care of their animals. From what I can see online, it's the best ones are, you get a place that has one cat, because, you know, like, cats take care of themselves. So, you know, like, you feed it, you empty the litter box, that's pretty much it. With dogs, it's a lot more involved, because you gotta, like, walk them and stuff. But John Doe says message retracted would be he deleted it. Case says try hang around women's shelter. Are you serious? All right. Try hang out around women's shelter. You can always find someone looking for cigarettes. Just don't be creepy. They need supports. You need support. Why not? Just careful around druggies. Oh man. I mean, I'm gonna say, like, it's an idea. It sounds like a bad idea, because, well, they're not the best place, I would think. Also, you got to remember I have domestic violence on my record. you, I would imagine, man, I just imagine that I have my window down, so there's a, what is with the new Mustangs? Like the last couple of years of Mustangs, did they intentionally put terrible exhausts on them? Just to make them sound awful. Anyway, but so I don't know where it is, like, because I think, if I remember right, I think you're in Canada, but at least where I'm from, in Ohio, you're not supposed to know where the women's shelters are. Like, they keep the location a secret. Now, I do know where one of them is. I know where the one in Marietta, Ohio is, because that used to be our fraternity house. We gave them that when we built a new house. So I do know where that one is, but like, for the most part, you're not supposed to, and a lot of them actually do not allow men. Like, they either completely discourage contact with men, or like if you're staying there, you can't have any contact with men, or like men are definitely not allowed to be there or really even know where it is. That would be my guess. Is it something like that? And let's just say, like, yeah, you know, like the quality, and you guys know what I just went through. Like, do I really need to find another mental health issue to deal with? I'm not sure if I could seek out like a women's shelter and like not be creepy, you know. I don't even know, like, well, one, how do you even look it up and go there and that not be creepy? And then two, like, you said try hanging around the women's shelter. If I found the location of the place, I'm not supposed to know where it is, and I'm just like hanging out there, like, I don't know how to not make that creepy. And then the thing is, I'm there to like prey on like vulnerable women. I don't know how that's not creepy. So I don't know how that would work. Well, and then you said, or hang around men's shelter, see if anyone wants to work for your business. I would not want anybody that's in that kind of position to be associated with my business. I mean, I have to maintain a quality of work and my reputation since I'm associated with the business. Plus, I mean, I don't know what kind of situation the men are in, but also, you know, there's not really men's shelters, right? Like, I know of one in California, but men don't have the resources that women do. There may well only be one men's shelter in the entire US. So that's not really going to be an option. Rosie says, is your car paid off? Yeah, I paid my car off 3 years early. I bought it in 2017, and I just made the monthly payments up through 2020. But in 2020, I had that job where I made really good money, and so I had the extra money, so I paid it off. More so just because I wanted to eliminate the monthly payment out of just what I had to pay every month. So yeah, it's been paid off since sometime in 2020. Do you have a car warranty? No. You know what? Is a car warranty a real thing? Like, because I know that, like, all those scam places, like, get a hold of you and say that, you know, there's, like, an extended warranty they'll sell you, but are car warranties actually a real thing? Because I've never had a car warranty. I don't know if maybe if you buy the car brand new from the dealership, maybe. The only thing I know is that I bought the car at 71,000 miles. And Subaru, so this is a PZEV, so it's a low emissions vehicle. And in the low emissions vehicles, Subaru had a deal where the emissions system was warranted for 100,000 miles. Now, I'm at 230,000 and I've never had an issue with it. But within that 100,000 miles, if there was a problem, they would fix it for free. But that's the only warranty that I know of. John Doe says, LMAO, please don't go to the women's shelter. Abort. Yeah. I cannot, under any circumstances, see that would be a positive thing. Like, yeah, I just feel like there's no way that any good would come from that. Case says men here can declare they are women, and a few of them get to stay in women's shelter. Well, I mean, yeah, that's an idea. I'm not certain that would work in North Carolina. That's more likely to get you, like, crucified or something. But yeah, I don't know. I can say for certain that there are no men's shelters in West Virginia or Ohio. And I'm pretty sure when I looked into it, the only one is in California. But there might be some that I don't know about. Robert Zachariah, hey Mark, I thought you said once you were interested in a drone business. What happened with that? Well, I don't think that I really thought out much about that. In fact, I barely remember it. I do remember that around 2016, 2017, I really wanted one of the DJI drones that Target had, and it was mostly just to film video. I do remember talking in some past live streams about with somebody else that wanted to like start a drone business. And I know that I referred them to Brown Owl Imaging, which is in the area that I'm from, either like right on the West Virginia-Ohio border, that's a company that does that there. I do think eventually I probably will get a drone, and I'll probably use, some, for different types of videos I make, I'll use some of the footage in the videos. But I don't think it would be like a main source of income for me. Right now, I just don't have the time or the money to put toward that. I think I'd like to eventually learn how to fly one, though. Yeah. All right, well, we're at the bottom of the comments. We are almost 3 hours in, I think, right? Yeah, almost 3 hours in. So I've either said everything that I have to say, or I've forgotten what I had to say, which wouldn't be a surprise. So I'll give you guys a few minutes if you want to make any other comments or have any other questions for me. But here's what I've got planned for really like the next 30 days until we do the next live stream. I might try to get my hair cut. I might not. It just started to be out of control. I am going to try to buy a pair of jeans this month. I'm going to get my oil changed, hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to get my brake, my side marker lights fixed, which is a step in the right direction. Maybe my engine air filter. I'm going to do that myself. And then starting February 1st, any money that I get from DoorDash or Instacart, $1 per order is going to go to savings. And then for TaskRabbit, 5% will go toward paying off past debt, and 5% is going to go just into savings. I am going to start moving in the direction of making videos because I've got so much to catch you guys up on. And so I would say for February, March, most of April, which is around the time that I'm going to be moving back, and also around the time that I should be hearing about the fraternity job, the focus is just to get caught up. There are a few loose ends that are going to have to be taken care of from the lawsuit in that time period, but beyond that, it's just a matter of making more money, getting myself caught up with things, like mostly things that money have to pay for, and then I think I'll be able to reevaluate once we're around May, like once I'm around back in Ohio, and what should also be like the busy season for furniture assembly. I can kind of adjust things at that point, and hopefully I'll be in a better place, just with everything, but I'll see at that point. So Case says, you have to know people getting weddings or students who are graduating. It is a 3D printing studio business that makes wedding/graduation gifts. I don't really know either of those types of people. I also don't know much about 3D printing. I mean, I know I have access at maker spaces and stuff, but I haven't done any of it myself. And then Rosie says, sending you love and blessings. Thank you. John Doe, all right, Mark, I'm going to get out of here. Good luck with everything. Thank you, man. And if any of you are watching this back, I'm just looking, again, if you want to send me anything on PayPal, link is in the description down below. That goes to me directly. I still appreciate super chats and everything, but it just takes a month or more for that money to actually get to me. If you do PayPal, I can do it right away. With the goal being that I can get into that co-working space hopefully soon. I just got to get the $200 up front. Oh, and Case says I read the second comment, not the first one. I do not see a first comment from you. I see men here can declare they're women, and a few of them get to stay in women's shelters. And then there's Robert's comment, and then yours right after that is the one about weddings and students. So I don't know what happened there. I don't see any message redacted or anything, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, guys, so that's where it's at. I mean, I'm still going to be pretty busy, clearly. Like, this is the very beginning of getting caught up over 3+ years and stuff. But I really am trying to make videos. And part of the catching up process is making those videos to get you guys caught up and, you know, let you know what's been going on, what I'm doing now, and get the channel moving forward. So I appreciate you guys being here and being here this long. We're at almost 3 hours. Case is about to make a comment. I just said, here's the first comment. So I don't see, I see where you say, here's the first comment, but I don't see anything after that. I don't know if you put something down below there or if, oh, wait. That's so weird. Okay. I'll have to look into it. You know what? Try, once this video is uploaded, like once you're able to play it back, try to comment it there. Because then, if it is something that's blocked, it should go, there's like a filter that I can get into that should show it. Oh, I see. Now you're saying, I know a business owner who is paying people who can drive business, and you get refer fee if you are interested. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you want to let me know, you can either, like, you can put it in the comments, or send me a DM on Instagram is a good way to get a hold of me too. And we can talk about it there. I'll see if it's something that would be feasible for me. Yeah, so that's the thing, is I don't think I actually have my filters set up. I know you can do that where it'll automatically filter out certain words. I'm pretty sure that I actually don't have that set up for the channel. And I'm looking in settings, and at least while I'm live, it's not letting me get into the settings that look for that. But yeah, because maybe it's automatically filtering it out of the live stream. If you comment it later, it might not appear publicly, but it should. Yeah, and the Instagram is just the MarkGoudy. But if you put it on there, I think I can get to it on the back end. And I'm gonna double check, because I don't think I have those filters set up. Maybe there's some kind of like safe option or something where it automatically filters out certain words. I'm not sure. But all right, guys, so we will do this again next month. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I will be in a co-working space and we don't have to do this outside. But we'll see, you know, how that works out. And yeah, I just got a lot of work to do for the next month. So thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm really going to try to get some content made for you this month, even if it's just one video. Yeah, Case says, I saw Rosie's comment getting redacted after 1 second. I didn't do that. I thought they did that. But yeah, maybe it's doing it automatically. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, guys, yeah, if you didn't get to watch this live, feel free. Put comments down below. I might have a little more time to get back to people. Can't guarantee it, but I at least do read all the comments that you guys put. So, and then I will try to get something out for you this month. And, you know, please, if you can, if you're able to, send something on PayPal so I can hopefully get into this co-working space so I can stop eating out for every meal. That would be amazing. Thank you. I will see you guys the end of next month and in whatever video I'm able to get up sometime this month. I'll see you guys then.